The Soldier's Return. Rewritten script. What if I told you that coming home could be the most terrifying thing a soldier ever faces? Not dodging bullets or navigating minefields, but walking through your own front door. Today's story will absolutely gut you, then piece your heart back together in the most beautiful way possible. Picture this. You've been fighting overseas for over a year, dreaming of home every single night. You finally get your discharge papers, and all you want is to surprise your family. But when you arrive, everything's wrong. Dead wrong. That's exactly what happened to Nathan. After 14 brutal months deployed, this young soldier decided to surprise his mom and little sister back in their quiet countryside town. He'd been planning this moment for weeks, imagining his sister's face lighting up when she saw him walk through that door. Nathan had every reason to be excited. The Army had granted him early leave due to an injury. Nothing too serious, mind you, and he'd kept it completely secret from his family. He wanted that perfect Hollywood moment, you know? It's the one where everyone bursts into tears of joy and they're hugging and laughter and everything. It's brilliant. But life doesn't always give us Hollywood endings, does it? As Nathan approached his childhood home that Tuesday afternoon, something felt ... off. The house that used to buzz with activity sat eerily silent. No music drifting from the windows, no sounds of life at all. Even stranger, the front door was unlocked. His mom was the type who de-locked the door, even if she was just popping to the loo. He stepped inside and immediately his gut told him something was very, very wrong. Dust covered everything like a shroud. The family photos that once lined the hallway were either missing or ... broken. Shattered glass crunched under his boots. "Mom," Lily, he called out. Nothing but his own echo. That's when he found her. His 17-year-old sister, curled up on her bed, facing the wall like she was trying to disappear into it. When she turned around and saw him, the joy he expected wasn't there. Instead, her face crumpled with a mixture of relief and absolute devastation. And that's when Nathan saw it. The bruising around her eye, the split lip, the way she flinched when he moved towards her. His little sister, the one who used to challenge him to arm wrestling matches and always lost, was covered in injuries. Now, I need you to imagine what's going through the soldier's mind right now. He's trained for combat. He's faced enemy fire, but nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared him for seeing his baby sister beaten and broken in their childhood home. Through tears, Lily finally told him the truth. Their mom had died 3 months earlier from pneumonia. The Army had tried to contact Nathan, but somehow the message never reached him. Can you imagine? Missing your own mother's funeral because of a communication mix-up? But it gets worse. After the funeral, with no close relatives nearby, Lily was completely alone. It's when this bloke named Rick showed up. He'd dated their mom briefly years ago, and he offered to help Lily through this difficult time. Seemed like a decent gesture, right? Wrong. So very wrong. What started as help quickly turned into control. Rick moved himself into their family home, claiming he was protecting Lily. But protection looked more like prison. He decided who she could speak to, where she could go, what she could wear. Then came the verbal abuse, the threats, and finally, the violence. This 17-year-old girl, already grieving her mother, was now trapped in her own home with a man who was systematically destroying her life. She couldn't tell anyone. Rick had isolated her from friends, from school counselors, from anyone who might help. Nathan listened to every word, and you could practically see the rage building in his eyes. But here's the thing about military training. It teaches you discipline, teaches you strategy. And Nathan was about to put both to very good use. That night, while Lily slept, Nathan didn't rest. He spent hours on the phone, calling in every favor he had. An Army mate who'd become a solicitor, a social worker who specialized in veteran families, the local police. He was building a case, piece by piece, like he'd once planned military operations. But the system moves slowly, doesn't it? They needed evidence, statements, documentation, and most importantly, they needed Lily to be ready to speak up. The next day, Nathan had to step out briefly. He told Lily he was going to the shops, but really, he was setting a trap. Right on cue, Rick walked in like he owned the place. The moment he saw Lily in the kitchen, his mood darkened. He started having a go at her about not cleaning properly. Classic abuser behavior, finding fault with everything. Then Rick raised his hand to strike her. That's when Nathan appeared behind him, silent as a ghost. Nathan caught Rick's wrist mid-swing. The look of shock on the abuser's face must have been priceless. "I'm her brother," Nathan said, his voice deadly calm, "and you've just made the biggest mistake of your life. Now, you might expect this to turn into some massive punch-up, right? But Nathan was smarter than that. He didn't need his fists. It's something much more powerful. Evidence. "The police are on their way," he told Rick. And they were. Nathan had spent the previous night documenting everything. Lily's injuries, her testimony, even medical records she'd hidden away. He'd built an airtight case. When those sirens wailed outside, Rick's tough guy act crumbled faster than a soggy biscuit. He was arrested on multiple charges: assault, unlawful detention, endangering a minor. Justice served cold. But Nathan's job wasn't finished, not by a long shot. Could have gone back to finish his military service. Could have found work in London, started fresh somewhere new. Instead, he made a choice that changed everything. He became Lily's legal guardian. Nathan transformed that house from a place of fear back into a home. He painted over the dark memories, replaced the broken furniture. But most importantly, he made Lily feel safe again. He helped her study for university entrance exams, drove her to therapy sessions, sat with her during the nightmares, when the past came crawling back. Slowly, ever so slowly, the light returned to her eyes. Word spread through their small town about what had happened. At first, people whispered. Some felt guilty for not noticing. Others ashamed they hadn't helped. But then something beautiful occurred. The community rallied around them. The local cafe offered Lily weekend work. A retired teacher volunteered to tutor her in maths. A neighbor donated a piano because she remembered how much Lily loved to play. This town that had once seemed distant suddenly became a support network. Nathan never saw himself as a hero. He always said he just did what any brother would do. But Lily knew better. He hadn't just saved her life by showing up. He'd saved it by staying. A year later, Lily stood on stage at her school graduation as valedictorian. Her speech was brief, but absolutely powerful. She looked out at the crowd and said something that still gives me chills. Sometimes life knocks you down so hard, you forget how to breathe. But then someone reaches into the darkness, not to pull you out, but to remind you that you have the strength to climb. The entire crowd rose to their feet. Nathan sat in the front row, tears streaming down his face, bursting with pride. In that moment, he wasn't just a soldier. He was a brother, a guardian, and living proof of what true courage looks like. Lily earned a scholarship to university. Nathan began working with veteran support organizations, helping other soldiers transition back to civilian life. He gives talks about trauma, family support, and the power of community. And every Sunday, they still sit on that front porch together, drinking lemonade and watching the sunset. No longer broken, no longer afraid, just healing, together. This story reminds us that heroes don't always wear uniforms or carry weapons. Sometimes they wear dusty boots and carry invisible wounds. Sometimes the most heroic thing you can do is simply show up when someone needs you most. Right then, that's our story for today. And honestly, if it didn't move you, check your pulse. Drop a comment below and tell us what hit you hardest about Nathan and Lily's journey. Smash that like button if this restored your faith in family bonds. And do not forget to subscribe for more incredible true stories that remind you why humanity is absolutely brilliant. Till next time, keep being the person someone else might need to see. Show up in their darkest hour. Cheers.